Alright, so a while ago for the Stripey challenge that Carolina Zabrowska, I think that's her name, she did a Stripey challenge and I participated by making an 1850s dress. And I made it kind of poorly, like, look at that. And I love the stripes. So I'm gonna take apart this skirt, which has a lot of fabric in it. Like, there's a lot of volume in this. So I'm gonna take it apart. I'm gonna get my seam ripper, take it apart, and I'm gonna turn it into a 1950s dress. Sorry it's a little dark in here. I'm at the rescue facility that I volunteer at, and for some reason the lobby light won't turn on. So the only light in here is from like this cat room. Oh, hi baby. Hi. Oh, and it's very noisy because we're like right next to the freeway. Hi babies, I love you. Hi. You can see through all 3 kitten rooms here through the glass doors. They're so sweet. Such sweet. Oh yes, I know. Okay, but anyways, I brought a pattern with me in case I get to any cutting. It's in my bag right here. But I already did a load of laundry here. But I was thinking of doing like a button-up shirtwaist dress. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I'll probably use black buttons. But I'm thinking of making this. I haven't used this pattern yet, so I might have to prepare the pieces a bit. I have to see if, I think there's some edges that I need to like cut off on some of the pieces. But anyways, this is what I want to work on. And I brought it with me. And I got a pumpkin spice latte this morning. So I got my coffee, and now I guess I'm just gonna take out my seam ripper. And yeah, I think I'll just start taking the waistband off, and then I'll probably at least cut out the bodice. I am having some major difficulty unzipping this with one hand. I didn't bring my tripod with me, so like I just have to kind of prop up my phone or hold it if I'm gonna use it. So I pulled out my seam ripper, and now I'm going to take off this waistband. This is just some lovely craftsmanship. I think I made this by hand. Yeah, I think I made, yeah, so the craftsmanship of this is lovely, and I only wore it for like the video. I've never worn it out, so I think I would wear this like a ton more if it was as a 1950s dress, and we just make a cute little Halloween stripey Sleepy Hollow but 1950s dress. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. It's time to take out my seam ripper and rip this apart. Alright, so the waistband is now ripped off, and now I have a ton of fabric. There's a lot. I put a lot of fabric into that skirt. Like, it's a lot of fabric. I think I can turn this into a 1950s dress. Like, it's gotta be like 4 yards of fabric, maybe. I don't know, maybe 5? I don't know. But there's a lot here. And I didn't do any shaping to the skirt. I just gathered a lot of it just into this huge skirt to kind of make it look 1850s-y, but I didn't do like any panels or shaping with it. Alright, so this is the back piece. I sewed the darts at the waist and at the shoulders, and I prepared the front pieces as well. So The pattern piece includes a facing, so it's like cut as one piece and then folded inwards. So I folded that in and I stitched it down already because there will be buttons that are the closure of this dress. And then they also have a pleat at the shoulders in the front of the bodice pieces. So I sewed those down, and I kind of sewed it like this. It's hard to see it on this side because of the black stripe, but I just went with black thread, so it's kind of sewn down into a pleat, and I think it's going to be a cute dress. Hopefully the stitch lines aren't too much to stand out. You know, I thought I would just let them be part of the design. So I didn't sew the line there like this, but this is not going to be shown anyway, so there's going to be a facing that goes in, but I just kind of mostly sewed it all down at the edges. I didn't do this evenly though. I put more space on this side than this side. Oh well, but this is what I have so far. So I have the bodice pieces basically done until I sew those together. So that's the progress that I have made thus far. Alright, so I just used a zigzag stitch along all of the edges of the bodice that I have cut out. And I guess now I could sew the bodice pieces together. Alright, so the bodice is sewn together, but I put it on and it seems like it's too tight to be able to button up easily. So I think what I'll do is I'll cut out a little strip of fabric. Oh, that matched up so nicely though, from the front and the back. Well, sort of. I mean, it makes like a V under here. But I guess it'll be less noticeable though if I do it under the arms at the sides. But I'm thinking that I'll add a tiny panel in at the sides, and that will help it be loose enough for the dress to overlap and button. So I think I will do that, even though I do kind of like how this has a V there. What does it look like on this side? Yeah. Oh well, that's okay. I'm just going to do like little added side panels, and that should give more room in the bust area, I think, so that I can put it on and button it. Okay, so I cut out the center front two skirt panels, and I folded in the facing that you fold in that's there, and I have that pinned. And then there are two pleats that I did. Now in this picture it looks like these pleats almost look like they're going forward, and then these ones look like the pleats were folded to go back, like towards the back. I chose to do the pleats towards the back of the dress, facing that way, rather than facing the center front. Anyway, so that's what I have done in just the last little bit. Okay, so I just sewed the placket area of the front of the skirt and the pleats. I took a little bit of volume out of all of the pleats in the front because I did add more fabric to the bodice, so I do need to compensate for that. And I'm getting a little worried about how much fabric I have left because I'm trying to keep all of the stripes vertical, and I just don't know if I have enough to put the full skirt together. I'll have to look at the pattern pieces, but I could also potentially piece the fabric together if I don't have enough. So I'm keeping my kind of scrappy bits in case I do need to piece fabric together. And also, this skirt is basically floor length on me because I'm so short. I'm only like 5'1", and I don't want this to be floor length, so I could potentially cut off fabric from the bottom and use some of that to piece up at top or up in other areas of the skirt. I was hoping I'd be able to do the sleeves, but I guess we'll just have to see if we have enough. I'm going to put the first front two pieces aside, and then I think I'm going to cut out the back of the skirt, because if somehow I don't have enough fabric to do all of the skirt panels, then I could potentially make the side panels black, and then I could just make that a design choice, and then it would look even. I think if I did the back of the skirt black, it might look a little weird, but if I do it at the side panel of the skirt, it might just look like a design choice that I decided to do a contrasting just black there. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but we're gonna just have to see how much fabric I do have left. Okay, good. So I just like trimmed the extra paper away from the 2 remaining skirt pieces that I have to cut, and it looks like I should have enough to finish the skirt. I wasn't sure if they would have pleats in them as well. That's why I was a little concerned with the amount of fabric that I would have to complete this, but it looks like they don't have any pleats in it, and they're pretty narrow, so I should be able to get those out of the remaining fabric, and hopefully there'll be enough for the sleeves too. So I think I'm gonna make it. Yay. Alright, so the first 2 pieces, I'm only cutting one layer at a time, so I'm not cutting both sides at the same time in order to do this, but I have the back, the skirt back, and then the side back of the skirt pinned in place. So I have them orientated this way to try to save fabric, but I'll also cut these a little bit larger just to make sure I have enough in the waistband of the skirt that the access that I added to the bodice will be made up for in the skirt as well. So it'll also match it. Time to cut. Well, I did make a mistake. I actually just noticed that they wanted me to put this on the center fold, but that's obviously not going to happen now. So I'm going to cut out another one of these, and it's just going to have a seam down the back, which it'll be fine. Alright, so the skirt is now finished, and now I'm going to work on attaching the bodice and the skirt together. So I'm going to pin it. I think there might be some extra in the skirt actually, so I might do some pleats to make it fit the bodice. Okay, so I just tried this on, and it's currently the length that I cut it as and as the pattern comes, which is kind of like a full-length dress on me. And I absolutely loved it with being long. I don't know, I feel like some kind of dark lady villain or something. Like, oh, it's so good. I love it. I just need to make sleeves and do buttons and buttonholes, and I need to hem the bottom. But I was planning on shortening this, but I think I'm just going to turn up the hem twice and hem it that way, or a zigzag stitch at the bottom and then turn it up once so that I preserve more of the length. But it's so good. I love this project so much. Oh my gosh. I am definitely going to be wearing this. It is so cute. Alright, so I just sewed on the neck facing by hand, and I'm going to be working on the collar. And collars are one of those sewing things that just kind of intimidate me. I don't know why, but I usually try to avoid making projects with collars, like, at all costs. I don't know why. They're just, I don't know. Sometimes I don't really get how to actually do it, but this is the facing I just did, and then this is the collar that I will be making. So I think I might have the stripes go diagonal on the collar, so I would cut 2 pieces and sew them together to try to make it even on each side, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try. Alright, so yesterday my husband was able to come home with some plain black buttons. There's 5 buttons on each little card, and I've already used up this one. I'm working on using up this one. But I have this many buttons and buttonholes sewn, so I have it done for the bodice. Now I need to just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more in the skirt. And right here I actually sewed the bottom of the skirt closed. If you see that line of stitching, it's sewn up closed. So I was trying to conserve on how many buttons I used, and I felt like this was a good length of buttons to have, which ended up being 11 buttons. So I didn't put a button close up at the top because I don't like things too close up at my neck, but I felt like this was a good distance for this. Yeah, that's how it looks so far. So I'm going to finish up these buttons and then it'll be done. What are you doing? You're just playing with the banky now?